Before you get into any sort of sandbag exercises and training, the first thing you got to be able to do is pick it up. Now, at a lightweight, it's pretty easy. You just kind of hoist it up and you're on your way. But as it gets heavier, you're going to need to have a little bit of technique to make this happen. So here's what you want to keep in mind. So first of all, I'm going to straddle the sandbag and I want to be right on top of it, just behind the sort of equator or the center line of the sandbag. Now, from there, I'm going to wedge my hands underneath. The closer I can get my hands together versus having them kind of be very separated underneath the bag, the easier it's going to be to pick it up. So my hands are basically going to go right in the middle of the sandbag, and I just kind of rock it back and forth until I get my hands right underneath. Okay. From that point, the key thing is that I compress or squeeze the sandbag together. I'm squeezing my forearms into the sandbag. That's going to add a lot more stability to the sandbag when you're picking it up. If you're finding that it kind of tips out of your hands or whatever when you pick it up, chances are you're not compressing it enough. So get my hands set, I'm compressing it, I get my back as tight as possible, and I just straighten my legs until I can sit this on my lap. From here, I can just shoot my knees forward and I have a place to rest the sandbag while I reset my hands. To grip the sandbag, what you guys want to do is bring your hands like this. You're not going to use your thumb like this, right? Your thumbs are going to stay by your pointer finger. Bring your hands together, turn one 90 degrees, so you're sort of like a plus sign. You're going to just hook your fingers on one side, hook your fingers on the other side, and pull in. So this is called a gable grip. It's used in Greco-Roman wrestling and regular wrestling, and it is probably the strongest grip that you're going to be able to have when you're dealing with the sandbag. So again, no thumbs, turn 190 degrees, and cup it. The nice thing about the sandbag is there's a little bit of give. So I want to cinch it up nice and tight so there's a little bit of a bulge above and below where my arms are, and that's going to help keep the sandbag in place and prevent it from slipping as I go. So you can see that little bulge. If I lose that like this, as I do my exercises, it's gonna kind of slip out on me. Now the other thing that you wanna think about is where you're actually holding the sandbag. I like to hold it right against my abs. So imagine where your six pack would be or where your six pack is versus up in the chest. If it's up on the chest, kind of by the sternum and the ribs here, it gets really, really hard to breathe. And as you can tell by my breathing, it's already hard to breathe when you're holding that sandbag in there. So if you can make it a little bit easier, that makes a big, big difference.